for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship 2024 and a race weekend to come in Zolder, Belgium. 14 teams from 6 countries, about 120 Goodyear tires for one weekend, and all trucks racing with 100% sustainable fuel. Fights for points in total and the Chrome class will determine all action of this exciting championship. Are you ready for our live stream starting on Saturday at 10 AM, followed by strong races all weekend long? Become a part of the One Truck family and see you soon. And there we are, starting out with the first race here in Zolder, Belgium, and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. My name is Lina van der Mars, and I'm standing here with Davide Califano of Goodyear Racing EMEA, because not only the Truck Racing Championship, but also other championships, talking about Le Mans, the World Series, have a very nice program when it comes to sustainability and the tires. So maybe you can talk about that for a second.
Yeah, Goodyear Racing EMEA has been just recognized the 3 stars environmental accreditation from the FIA, which is the highest accreditation that we can get, and this is a recognition of the efforts that we as Goodyear are doing to enhance the sustainability of motorsport and racing. We are very proud of the achievement, and of course it's just a milestone on the process that we are through.
Yes, sustainability always starts out in the factory. So you have 2 factories. Both are like twice ISO certified, and also the German one has the ISCC since January. So you have a very high standard.
Yes, these are the 2 factories that we use for the motorsport operation in EMEA. So this is the factory in Hanau in Germany and the factory in Luxembourg. And as you said, these are both part of the certification, and that's where we run our operation. Of course, we use renewable energies in those factories, 100%, not only for their motorsport, but also for the standard production. So that's part of the commitment from Goodyear to sustainability.
So let's go back to the tires. We heard there are like 120 tires about that get used on a whole weekend. That's a lot of rubber, but it's not being thrown away into the trash can. There's a very nice program running in the back, which kind of brings the racing world back on the road, right?
Yes, I think we always speak about the connection between racing and road. So in this case, I think we have a clear example where we take the tires from racing, we bring it back to our factory, and then we retread them as normal tires that normally would go on standard track. So giving them a second life on the highways and on the road of every day. So it's a very good connection between the circuits and the road here in this case.
And I really like watching the races here in Belgium, because there is like a lot of stuff going on the racetracks. We had heavy rains yesterday in the free practice. We have 1 tire that has to work in the rain but also in the heat. We have a corner, just the first one down there. We will see later on in the race. And the trucks, they're almost drifting. There is so much weight on the outside of the tires. So how do you manage to manufacture such a well-working tire?
Yeah, in this specific case, it's a bit of a compromise that we need to find. I think truck racing is one of the championship where we use the same tires for dry and wet. So we always need to find a bit the right balance of compromise between the 2 performances. And in 24, we brought the new compound, which is a bit more performing on wet and also a bit better on dry. So that's, I would say, win-win situation. And yesterday we've seen also during these wet practices, we got very positive feedback from the team, so which is somehow showing that we achieved to meet the objectives that we had foreseen with the program. So we are very happy with the results so far.
All right, so for all the fans out there, no matter if you love car racing or truck racing, Goodyear is really doing a good job when it comes to all these programs and to reusing the tires. So just follow whatever you find online. There's a lot more to read about. Thank you so much for taking your time. And as you can see, the trucks are already piling up. So it's time to hand over to Chess Traycott. I can't talk today, I'm very sorry, our commentator.
Thank you, Lena. Yeah, always fantastic to hear from Davide Califano from Goodyear. He's always there at the race meetings, and he's always got such a big smile on his face. He's a great character as part of the paddock, and it's lovely to have that liaison with Goodyear as well. So many of their wonderful people make it to each of the race meetings and support the championship, and of course, the wonderful people that make up Goodyear and what they do for us here in the truck racing world. And it's great that it also ties into the industry as well, as Davide mentioned there, with their retreading process. We'll have the actual road tyres from the racing. It's really, really cool. Let's have a quick look, if I can get my words out today, flipping heck, at some highlights from qualifying, shall we, that put Norbert Kirsch and Antonio Albacete, the two teammates, on the front row of the grid. It was a little bit more of a gloomy start to the day. Here at Zolder, you never really know what you're going to get weather-wise, and the teams and drivers were all hoping that the rain would stay away for the meantime. John Newell slid into action straight off the bat, with a couple of drivers going out in Q1 in the opening stages. It was Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett that we lost from the very first session of the day. Luke having to get used to a different axle on the front of their truck after having an issue with a seized axle at the start of the weekend. And it was Louis Requenco that was up against it and had to try and go out to improve it on a time. But unfortunately, he did not get one on the board. It was the penalty markers that were the talking point, though, as drivers tried their very hardest to put decent laps on the board. Track limits were very, very close by. Lucas Hahn made his first qualifying performance matter this season with 10th place on the grid, while Sascha Lenz struggled in Q2 and would eventually finish in 7th position, not making it through into Q3 as a real surprise for the German driver. You could see it meant a lot to Sascha as we spoke to him at the end, but down to the final moments, it was down to Q3, and it was Norbert Kirsch, Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Steffi Halm and Andre Kurzim in that order at the end. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez continuing to impress everybody here. We go back down into the start-finish straight and speak to Lena.
Yes, Norbert Kirsch and Antonio Albacete, they're starting out in front, so they're teammates. They're like connecting points for the teams, which is lovely. And Antonio, it's really good to see you in the front. Is this going to be a spicy race today?
Yeah, I mean, I will try to keep the second position. You know, I think Norby is quite fast, so I think we have to play also for the teams. I think for the team will be very good to finish 1-2. And I think that for my team it will be very good if I can keep this second position. It's going to be tough because Jochen is very fast also. He will be behind, and also Rodriguez is going quite well. So we'll see. Let's hope that everything is okay and we have a good race.
All right, so good luck to you. We're handing over to our world feed and all the television audience that will join us for the race in a second.
Yes, indeed. As you see there, the heat rising now on the start-finish straight here at Zolder, which isn't something you see very often. But it's good that the conditions have improved here for the start of our racing here this weekend. Qualifying was certainly an exciting one with the new format, with qualifying 1, 2 and 3. And now we have our official truck at the front of the field there, the Ford F-Max on the right-hand side, with the Iveco S-Way, the official pace truck of the championship, ready to go. You can see Frank there in his white overalls. He stood, I believe, with May Fisher, Rolf Werner, and I think Nadine is down there as well. And there's a great team of people behind these events. It's lovely to see them all out in force once again. But we wait for the race to get underway as everybody completes their final preparations here on the grid at Zolder. But it's interesting to see for the first time this season that we don't have Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. He will be on the inside line, though, down into turn 1. On the inside of that man there, Antonio Albacete. But Antonio knows what he's doing. He's a wily old fox these days, is Antonio. He's certainly a wise racer. There's his team, T-Sport Bernau, Tim Frost at the head of it with Franz Stahlberg there from the FIA. Just checking up on what's going on and just having a good chat with the guys. He's got great rapport with the team as well, and with all the teams, to be fair. There's a fantastic family feel. What I'm going to do, though, everybody, is just for a moment, is go quiet while we welcome our international TV audience from all around the world. So we'll see you in a few moments, and we'll continue with the action in a sec.
A warm welcome to all the fans of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here in Zolder, Belgium. And race number 1 is just about to get started. And of course, we are not alone. There are many fans around, but we also have our lovely commentator, Chas Draycott, in the house.
Thank you, Lena. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. My name is Chas Draycott. Delighted to be commentator once again for this wonderful series in our great European tour. This tour brings us to Zolder here in Belgium for this weekend. And what a spicy circuit it really is. Loads of chicanes, loads of hairpins and hard braking zones for these trucks to be put through their paces. The likes of the Lucien Bianchi box, Kleiner chicane, and even the Villeneuve chicane as well towards the middle part of the lap. All really important sections, and you will see many overtakes this weekend compared to some of the other circuits that we head to, where the trucks can struggle to find a way past each other, which is quite unique really, because of the fact that this circuit is so narrow. Some of those chicanes you can barely fit 2 trucks through them, to be honest with you, but we somehow manage, and the drivers certainly show their capabilities here. It's a great circuit to visit, and that's before you even start talking about the wind, the conditions and the rain that we potentially get as well. Each of the times we come here, we've had so many mixed conditions in one weekend. You're almost guaranteed one race in a slightly wet condition, or one session at least in wet conditions, but still, we'll have to wait and see what comes our way. This is how the grid is going to start for the first race of the weekend. It's teammates Norbert Kiss and Antonio Albacete on the front row of the grid, with Jochen Hahn and the very impressive Jose Eduardo Rodriguez starting from 4th position. He qualified ahead of Steffi Halm and André Kursim, the last 2 drivers to make it through into Q3. And then Sascha Lenz, the big talking point from qualifying, that Sascha Lenz didn't make it through into Q3. He's going to be hoping for a better first race of the weekend, with Stefan Fass alongside him, also looking for some Chrome Championship points to chase after Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Mark Taylor and Lucas Hahn make up the 5th row of the grid, Lucas making his first appearance for this season, with John Newell in 11th place, Heinrich Clemens Hecker alongside him. Welcome back to Clemens. Louis Requenco was going well here last year at Zolder, but 13th on the grid at the moment. Not really looking that strong for him. He's going to hope for better in the first race, while Luke Garrett will start from the 14th and final spot on the grid. Again, just hoping to add to the points tally for this season. And we're going to go down straight to the grid as we walk past Tony Eden, and we're going to speak to Jochen Hahn, who's with Lena.
And who is as relaxed as always just before the race starts. And I think it's like the very calm mind that just wins the race, at least like you style-wise for sure. But you had quite a challenge in the qualifying today, no? We saw you stronger at the last races, so are you taking it really like relaxed this weekend?
Yeah, in the end we missed the day yesterday. We have some technical issues. I'm not really... I think it's my foul, so it's possible in the race now. I think we can fight for with Nobby and Antonio.
Yeah, you and Antonio, you always have the strongest fights going on because you're both very strong drivers, but you're also fighting for the team championship. So you and Steffi are in 2nd place right now. So is it also about staying in the front for the team points?
Yeah, for sure in the end. But yeah, look in the front, teammates. So yeah, it will be hard for the team championship. But you know, I am focused for the moment, and in the moment I'm in the 2nd row, 3rd place. A little bit unhappy with the time practice, but it is like it is, and we make the best in the race, and for sure I think I can enjoy it.
You also brought your son, Lucas Hahn, who is like starting out on 10th position right now. Are you very proud to have him with you?
Lucas, Lucas is unhappy in the moment. In the simulator he make really good lap times here, and you know, you need experience. That's why he raced in Zolder this year. He needs experience for the day when he come in the European Championship for the whole season. And I think he can come forward. He learned on each one. And from this side, take care, no crash. The checkered flag must done, and then we see the results.
Right, so this is how you learn from the champion, because this man is a multi-champion. So good luck to you today. And let's see how Steffi's doing. But first of all, back to Chas.
Thank you, Lena. Yeah, it's interesting to hear from Jochen that things aren't always going as smoothly as they'd hope, but that's part of motorsport, I suppose. These things don't always go your way, and it's always about how you sort of overcome those hurdles and make something of the weekend, even if it seems like luck is not on your side. We have the Ford F-Max back on the track, which is the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We have two of these trucks that come around Europe with us, so we just need to go back down to Lena, though, I'm told. So let's quickly nip down to the grid. 1 second.
And there she is, the second face of Team Hahn Racing, Steffi Ham, of course, who had very strong races in Slovakia ring. And we just talked to Jochen about the team spirit, because you have two team members in the front row. So are you also defending the team number or the team points that you will earn at this race?
For sure, the most important thing is that we give the maximum and score the most points for the overall championship. And for sure, if you count it, it will be also a good result for the team championship. I think we don't have to stress too much and just make our race, and then we will see what happens.
So Jochen, he's so calm, and it also seems to like go over to you, because you're sitting there super relaxed. People always think before a race starts, people are like super eager, but I think the calmer, the faster you are at the race itself. No?
Yeah, you know, it's just, you just need a few minutes to come down, to concentrate and to be focused, because everybody of us knows what he's doing. And so for sure, there is always a little bit of nervousity, but not too much. And I think it's important to have it, because I think if you lose it, you will never be fast again.
All right, so let's see how those two are doing. I'm pretty sure they will do well. Good luck to you. See you later on, and just back to you.
Cheers, Lena. Yes, indeed. Always good to hear from Steffi Halm. She's relaxed ahead of this first race of the weekend. And back to the Ford F-Max, which is completing its inspection lap. It's just to head around the circuit, make sure there's no spillages, no debris, nothing that could cause the race to not be run, basically, ahead of this first one. There's Andrei Kurzim in the number 11 machine with his team. A handshake to all. A really, really tightly knit squad, or closely knit squad, is Don't Touch Racing Berlin. They all give each other a good luck handshake before they go out onto the circuit, each of them saying good luck to Andre individually. It's a lovely sort of superstition that they've got down at the team, where they all prepare for the race. There's a big buzz around this first race of the weekend, though, because everybody wants to be out of the gates as quickly as possible with as many points on the board as possible. And like I've said, with it being such a close and tight and twisty circuit here, the drivers have got to be so careful about going for overtaking manoeuvres and trying any sort of outbraking manoeuvres down the inside. Awareness is massively key here at Zolder. May Fisher brings the official truck in from the left-hand side there, the Ford F-Max. She's ready to head into the paddock, as they see some of the final personnel just making their way off the grid. Antonio Albacetti's truck there on the right-hand side of shot, towering over them. As you see, these race trucks, they may be smaller than the road trucks that you'll see, as you'll compare to our Iveco S-Way at the front, but they are by no means small at all. They are not reduced by much in size, to say the least. And we just wait now for the last people to clear the grid. The drivers are told to start the engines of their wonderful racing machines. Frank has put the beacon lights on the pace truck at the front, and that gorgeous Iveco S-Way will lead us away very, very shortly. And there you can see Tony Idden having one final look over the grid before making his way off. Rolf Werner as well on the right-hand side of shot. Franz Dahlberg, looking cool as a cucumber as always, makes his way into the pit lane. 30-second board is shown on the left-hand side. And I hope you're as geared up for this one as I am. I always love it when we come racing here at Zolder. It's a real treat to have on the calendar a legendary Belgian circuit with so much history behind it. And there we go. Frank leads us away. The Iveco S-Way hops off the line. Next up will be Norbert Kisch and Antonio Albacetti as they set off from the front row. Now this Iveco S-Way at front is a special one because it is powered by bio-LNG. You may see a lot of them on the roads, on the highways of the world, wherever you may be in the world. You can usually tell the bio-LNG equivalent apart from the big bio-LNG tanks on the side that are completely round as opposed to the sort of more conventional square fuel tanks of an internal combustion engine that runs on diesel. But it removes up to 95% of the emissions, does bio-LNG, while not affecting the power and torque in a huge way. As I've said before, as a driver or even as a passenger, you cannot tell the difference that it's running on a sustainable fuel as bio-LNG. And all of our race trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel as well. So as you can clearly tell by now, as I'm sure you already know as part of the championship if you've watched us before, is the fact that the sustainability involved in this championship is tenfold and continues to be the talking point. So too, really, does Norbert Kish. Norby at the very front of the order again with Antonio Albacete alongside him. Very, very good front row with Jochen Hahn and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez making up row 2. Jose Eduardo absolutely flying here at Zolder. Steffi Halm in 5th position alongside Andre Kurzim. Another battle surely to come with those two Ivecos on the 3rd row together. Then Sascha Lenz in 7th position. He's going to line up alongside Stefan Faas. We're looking forward to seeing how Sascha can make his way through the order from there. Next up is Mark Taylor in 9th place with Lucas Hahn in 10th position. I'm excited to see what Lucas can do with his first race of his 2024 season. Then we have John Newell and Heinrich Clemens Hecker making up the 6th row of the grid. He said the 12th row of the grid. Louis Requenco, who is going to be turning 60 tomorrow, is in 13th place, and Luke Garrett joins him on the final row of the grid. There is Luke Garrett on the final row. And I'm really excited to see how this first race gets underway. There's a real pinch point of the circuit when they come down to the Kleiner chicane for the first time. Even turn 1 can be a bit of a pinch point as well. They've got such a massive weight transfer of the truck going one way then the other. And Sascha Lenz is, pulling off to the left-hand side. What on earth has happened there? Now, I did receive a message not long ago from Steve Miller, who is part of the team. He's from Apollo, who sponsors Sascha Lenz. He says he thinks that they've had an electrical issue with the truck. So Sascha, after what has been a torrid qualifying for him, is now going to lose championship points there as well. I think he's going to head into the pit lane. We'll have to keep our eye on it. Yeah, Steve's just messaged me now, actually. Thank you very much, Steve. But here we go then. The rest of the field will continue on. They're all formed up to go. And the 9th race of the season in 2024 in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway, with Norbert Kish leading us down to turn 1 on the inside line with Antonio Albacete alongside him. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wants to carry the pace around the outside. Stefan Faas uses that gap on the left-hand side where Sascha Lenz would have been to try and get underneath Andre Kurzim. Looks like Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has had a little bit of a solid run actually around the outside, but then sort of lost a bit of momentum before turn 2. Jochen Hahn able to stay in front. He's now under pressure from Andre Kurzim and Steffi Halm in there. Lucas Hahn wanting to make progress as well, as down the inside of him looks Mark Taylor. Nothing doing there. Kurzim down the inside of Halm this time. And on the exit of the Lucien Bianchi box, we have John Newell running a little bit wide, just kicking the back end out there. Kicking up a lot of dust as trucks try and move their way around him. I think Heinrich Tecker wants to make a move down the inside in the Scania, the red and black number 25. He goes for it as, he's gone late on the brakes, locks it up completely. Great awareness and avoidance by the other drivers around him. As, something's gone awry there actually. I think he had a bit of a hit from John Newell behind on the exit, but I think something has gone wrong there for Heinrich Clemens Hecker. It didn't want to stop at all, did it? But it's Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andre Kurzim, the top 5 at the moment. Luke Garrett, what on earth happened there to Luke? He's just slammed on the brakes as well to stop it coming back on the circuit, but the truck suddenly just spurted straight on then. He got on the power and something looked like it broke. It just went completely straight. And is that another run of bad luck for Luke and the team? Is that another component broken? He is still stopped. Sasha Lenz is there in the pit lane. Seems like nobody wants to finish these first laps. Goodness me. Norbert Kish making his way down the start-finish line. Or start-finish straight. We're going to quickly go back to Lena, who I think is on the ground there with us.
Yeah, finding out what's going on over here. Obviously there's something wrong with the engine and they're quite busy right now, of course. I don't want to open the door of Sasha just in case he can go again, but let's see if someone can at least tell me what exactly the issue is. But they were already checking on the turbo. Now obviously it's like, yes, it seems like the engine is not running properly. Habt ihr Eispressungsprobleme? Yeah, I think it's the ignition, so I will just let them do their job because I don't want to hold them back from going back into the race world. But this is obviously what you really do not want. You get your car fixed, you get out, you start to race, and then the engine has an issue. That's not really nice.
You can hear it revving away there actually, but yeah, any sort of electrical issue, if it knocks out the timing for example, or just even if just one cylinder isn't igniting properly, then the truck is going to run like a bag of bolts and it's going to feel awful. And the thing is as well is that you can't even throw the machine out on the circuit and say, oh, it'll be fine, and try and make more of it, because at the end of the day you could just be doing more damage to the truck itself. The truck's littering the circuit and penalty markers as well. I don't know where that's come out from. That must have been on the exit of the chicane, the first of the chicanes. But we had Heinrich Clemens-Hecker off the road on the entrance, or the sort of middle part of the Villeneuve chicane, and then Luke Garrett parked up on the exit of it as well. Sasha Lenz is in the pit lane. So, flipping heck, it's been an attritional one already, and we've only got one lap in the books. Sasha Lenz is heading to the end of the pit lane, I can tell you that. He could actually just turn and go to the right into the paddock. Yes, that's what it looks like to me as he heads in. So it doesn't look like Sasha Lenz is going to be taking part in this race, unfortunately. That is a big, big shame for them, and it means as well that he'll have to start from the back of the grid for race 2. It means exciting stuff for us because we get to see Sasha Lenz pushing through the pack to try and get some points out of the second race, but it's a big, big shame to not have him running in this one. So Norbert Kish leads the way, Antonio Albacete second place, and then Jochen Hahn in third. All of them running on 100% renewable HVO diesel, and doing a great job with it as well. We do have the black smoke rule in the championship as well, so if you do see smoke or visible emissions from the exhausts, then we have observers around the circuit, and they judge it to be not withstanding with the sustainable ethos of the championship, then they will get penalised for it. And we're going to go back down into the pit lane now. Lena is back out there.
Kevin has been on the engine, and obviously Sasha's going out because he's not racing.
No, it's not possible. So we have some engine issues, no boost at this moment, and without boost you cannot go this race.
And we all have very limited time to race, so I understand. So I hope to see you back on race number 2 today.
Yeah, we hope also.
And it's reverse crit, so
we will see.
Let's see how the story goes. Good luck to you. He has to do some fixing now. I'm pretty sure Sasha Lenz is not in a good mood right now. Okay, Jess, back to you.
Yeah, really unfortunate that for Sasha and the team. Thank you though for Kevin for giving us a quick word on what's going on there. Obviously, like I say, they don't want to throw the truck out onto the circuit if there's a problem with it. You know, even if it is running and the truck will go, they don't want to throw it out on the track and potentially do more damage to it and give themselves a bigger repair job. It's all about damage limitation at that point. Norbert Kish continues to lead. Jochen Hahn closing in on Antonio Albacete, and what we were looking at a moment ago was Stefan Fass in the Chrome category, 7th outright, chasing down Steffi Halm and Andre Kurzim, the two Ivecos battling once again together, while Stefan in the Scania just behind them tries to take advantage. In the background we've got Lucas Hahn and Mark Taylor with John Newell in there as well. Lucas Hahn, if he finishes where he is now in 8th place, will actually start the second race of the day from pole position. So he needs to bear that in mind for the rest of the race. You can see that Norby is just opening up a little bit of a gap at the moment. Piece by piece, he's not overdoing it at this stage. This is what he does best in races 1 and 3 of the weekend. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still going strong in 4th place overall, as Steffi Halm just has a look down the inside of Andre Kursim, just says, look, we can try a move here. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of drivers know that nobody's going to really go for a big send into the Kleiner chicane, not unless they've got a massive run out of the corner before it. The right-hander down at Lucien Bianchi-Bocht. Look at the way they go one way, then the other through that chicane. Whoa, Stefan Faas way off the road there. I think went a little bit too hot into the first part of the chicane and then just went a bit too hot across the second bit as well. Obviously corrected it. And you can see actually Stefan, I think, has just gone straight on again there. I think he just disappeared off the right hand side of out of the shot. Now they all head back down towards the final chicane yet again. It's a real shame for Luke Garrett and the team. Something definitely broke on that truck, the way that it just stopped turning all of a sudden. They have had steering issues before. I'm wondering whether they've had the same thing again here. Across the line they go. Lovely shot there from over the bridge, or on top of the bridge anyway. There's Louis Requenco. Louis not having the best start to the race. John Newell running in 10th position there just in front of him. Then Mark Taylor just ahead of that. Antonio Albacete is holding station in 2nd place right now, and the gap between himself and Jochen Hahn has stayed about 7/10 of a second. So they've been able to keep that gap stable right now. And that's the thing for Antonio. Needs to just keep his eyes on the road ahead, not worry about Jochen behind him. And if I find out, I think that may be Antonio's best result of the season. He's had 2 podium finishes overall so far this season. 1 in race 3 at Misano, and then 1 in race 1 at the Slovakia ring. But he's not had a 2nd place finish yet so far this season. Only 2 third places. There's Andre Kursim, Steffi Halm, and then Stefan Faas. Not too far off the back of them still. He's recovered a little bit more time in the Scania. There is Norbert Kish opening up that lead a little bit more now. 2.7 seconds to the good. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, what a star he's been so far this season. Absolutely on fire. He had that incident at the 2nd race at Misano where he ran into the back of Sasha Lenz in a big check-up down into turn 1. Wasn't able to get the truck back out there. Recovered brilliantly though in the 3rd race of the weekend to get a 2nd position. And then got another race victory. He's won every race since then. He got a Grand Slam in the Chrome class at the Slovakia ring. And the young Portuguese driver is showing us how it's done at the moment. You heard kind words for him from Antonio Albacete earlier. Antonio, I believe, is helping manage Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm not sure how far that goes or what involvement there is, but still, to be sort of guided by someone as experienced and as fast as Antonio, I'm sure, is an amazing experience either way. There's John Newell just going through shot now. Louis Requenco in 11th position. Don't forget, those guys, even if any of them wander outside the top 10 positions overall in the race, they still get points in class for their Chrome position. So Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Faas and Lucas Hahn currently on for Chrome podium positions at the moment. Then Mark Taylor, John Newell, Requenco, and then Hecker and Garrett will not be classified for this one, unfortunately. They are both out of the race. And so too is Sasha Lenz. Sasha, of course, fighting in the Titan class, the overall championship. You can see a little bit of the white trim on the front of John Newell's truck, just on that front right corner, has been damaged slightly when he hit the back of Heinrich Clemens Hecker's machine. Not sure whether it's even just taken the vinyl off the bumper, to be honest with you. There is Requenco's Iveco. Lovely looking race truck that is. I love the dark green. It's a very simple design. It's not too fancy with loads of bits going on. Just looks really clean, really tidy. Let's not forget Louis took an overall race victory at Le Mans last year. Incredible win, as Mark Taylor gets mighty close to that penalty marker on the inside of the hairpin. The race continues on. We are on the 6th lap here out of 12. Just moving on to lap 7 now. The counter in the top left tells you how many laps have been completed. And it's Norbert Kish now 3.5 seconds clear. But the gap between Albacete and Jochen Hahn still holding about 7/10 at this present moment. Lucas, as we heard earlier, has been practicing in the sim. Over the winter, we do a virtual European Truck Racing Championship run on Assetto Corsa, where a number of our real-world drivers take part and race against some of the best sim truck racers in the world. There's a few other drivers in other championships as well that are here this weekend that raced in that. Robin Kreutoff, in particular, racing in the Scania T-Series in the Dutch Truck Racing Championship. He raced the exact same truck in the virtual one as well, and it was a lot of good fun. Robin's a great character. Maybe we'll see him in the European Championship someday. We'd certainly hope so. It'd be great to see that Scania T-Cab in the Championship as well. Right now, though, I'm sure Lucas Hahn will be thinking it'd be great for me not to have an MAN in my rearview mirror as Mark Taylor piles the pressure on right behind him. Both of them racing together in the same category here in the Chrome class. And Mark not only wants another place in the Chrome class and a podium finish, but he also wants to have that reverse grid pole position as well. There you can see Heinrich Clemens Hecker's truck off in the background. Louis Requenco there at the back end of the field. Stefan Faas going really deep into that hairpin. And we're going to go quickly down to Lena, I've been told.
Yeah, this is how you really can watch a race and how you can see the speed that these trucks have. Look, now Norbert Kish is coming. And it really feels very differently to just standing somewhere watching the television screen. So if you ever have a chance to come to one of the races, do so, because it's absolutely worth it. And look at the fans here, wait for the truck racing, yay! They came from all over just to see the races, but there's so many spots to watch, so this is not the only one.
Yeah, you get an idea there of the noise of truck racing. It's honestly one of the loudest forms of motorsport that you can ever go and see. It really is cool when you're trackside. Now look at these two here for 2nd and 3rd positions. Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn much closer together this time round as they head round turns 3 and 4. That's down to the Lucien Bianchi box. Just heading into the Kleiner chicane now. I think Jochen is trying to sort of wind it up a little bit now, and maybe just he's looked after the tyres more in the opening stages of the race. I'm not sure. But Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is the next truck on the road behind these guys. Currently running in 4th position. Running really well overall. But it looks like Jochen is right up behind the back of Antonio Albacete. And the Jose Eduardo, as you can see, actually still running the livery of the Total Energies branding that we often see on Jonathan Andre's truck, the number 44 machine. Jonathan racing in the French Truck Racing Championship this season, but we have the wonderful branding on the Rebo Canort machine run by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, please. And we now wait to see. There's actually a bit of movement there. Look, side by side. That is Steffi Halm having to defend from Stefan Faas. Stefan trying to go around the outside into the final chicane and have a look for a move, but nothing worked for him that time round. Steffi knows exactly where to put the truck on the road. And you've got Andre Kurzim. He's in a little bit of open air now that Steffi and Stefan have started fighting. That's going to be an easy one for me to tell apart, isn't it? Through the first corner they go. And it seems like after that little bit of defence, Steffi's opened up a few truck lengths. That's the thing, you have to really compromise your line if you're in a racing truck to try and overtake the one in front of you. There is Norbert Kish in the foreground, away now from Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn. These two with 9 championship titles between them. Lovely close-up look there of the suspension and the tyres working away on Albacete's machine as he heads over the chicane, over the crest of the hill. Jochen was looking a little bit more urgent a lap ago or so. Maybe he's just tried to have a bit of a go, pushed a bit hard on the tyres and fallen back slightly. There is Luke Garrett's machine still at the side of the road. It's a real shame to have lost 3 trucks in the opening lap already of this race. We're on lap 9 here and Norbert Kish still getting away. Here is Jochen. Just closing in a little bit on Antonio Albacete. Last time round, their lap times were almost identical, actually. 0.219 and 0.234. 158.219 it was for Albacete. 0.234 for Jochen Hahn. So literally 15 thousandths of a second different as well. Jochen almost backs it in there, drift style into the final chicane. Really hangs the back end of the Iveco out. And he's lost a bit of ground there. And Antonio now opens up a bit more of a gap from him. And you can see just one little mistake like that can really open it up. And Antonio now will feel a little bit more relief there. He won't be as worried that Jochen is suddenly closing in on him. Norbert Kish's lead is 3.7 seconds, so it shows you again that Antonio's got decent pace on the board. But Norby just as consistent as ever, always fast, absolutely everywhere. He's won every race so far this season. Steffi Halmer's got away from Stefan Faas a little bit there. There you can see the gap from the top 3 back to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And Jochen Hahn looking for another podium at least here. He's got 5 podium finishes so far this season. All of them were actually second places as well in rounds 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7 of the championship. But all behind this man, Norbert Kish, who continues to lead into the hairpin once again. Look at the way they have to sort of glide the truck around there. You can see that Jochen is maybe not pushing as hard now. He knows that he's not got many laps left to do this if he is going to catch back up to Antonio. But it's been a great chase all the same. Andre Kurzim holding station pretty well at the moment as well, in 5th position. It's been nice and clean so far, much like the 100% renewable HVO diesel that all of our trucks run on. Thank you once again to Patrick, the graphics guy at Vigo. I know that he's going to be laughing away to himself at that one, as he always does. But the top 3 looking pretty stable and safe as things stand. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez looking really locked in for another victory in the Chrome class. He's doing everything right at this present moment. He's got 2 Titan drivers between himself and Stefan Faas anyway, Andre Kurzim and Steffi Halm, so he's not really in any immediate danger behind us. Whoa, look at that, Jochen Hahn really throwing the Iveco through there, clearly trying to get the most out of the setup and the capability underneath him. He's really lobbing it about. And as they go down into the chicane once more, it's looking like Antonio isn't really too worried at this present moment. Their lap times last time again were almost identical, 158.9s for both of them, only 60 thousandths of a second, 600ths of a second between the pair. Thanks once again to Alice Holloway, who's there in race control. There's been a number of penalty marker warnings go out actually over the course of this race. With 1 lap to go, there's 2 drivers that are on their second warning as well, actually. Steffi Halm being one of them, and Mark Taylor being the other. So Steffi needs to be really careful here not to abuse track limits any further, because otherwise there will be a penalty waiting for her, and that may affect her result. Interesting to see that Lucas Hahn is still holding on to 8th position. That'll give him pole position for the second race of the day. It'll also mean that we've got Stefan Faas alongside him on the front row. And there is the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who, like I say, really seems to be on form here. He was already rapid enough last season, but he's properly come alive here in 2024. This Chrome Championship assault that he's got going on now really is impressive. That's the man trying to stop him at the moment. Stefan Faas comes here on 83 championship points. He's had 2 Chrome class wins, and they've both had 6 podiums apiece. But Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has had 5 race victories. There is Norbert Kish going into the Kleiner chicane for the final time. Jochen Hahn is a little bit closer this time. He was 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than Albacete on that last lap, but not enough to really close up that gap. They were both about 1.2 seconds quicker than Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well, who is, to be fair, maybe just taking a bit of 5% or so off for this final run through, because he is going to earn himself some big overall championship points. Like I mentioned earlier on today in qualifying, we no longer sort of split them completely between Titan and Chrome. We have the overall championship, and then Chrome is its own title within that. So these drivers can fight for overall championship points as well. So now it does make a difference if Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finishes in front of Kurzim or not. And it's interesting because you get to see the thought process behind some of the drivers in their respective categories, not moving over for each other and saying, nope, you've got your own battle to think about, you do your own thing. They will fight tooth and nail for every single position. But so will this man. Norbert Kish rounds the final corner, and he's about to cross the start-finish line and take round 9 of the championship here in 2024. Antonio Albacete gets the team's best finish of the season in 2nd place, with Jochen Hahn in 3rd. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finishing in 4th place. Great solid points haul for him. He finishes ahead of Andre Kurzim, and then Steffi Halm next up. Then it's Stefan Faas. Stefan finishes just behind the 2 of them, and across the line it's going to be a battle between Lucas Hahn and Mark Taylor. Lucas Hahn gets his first points of the season and will start from 8th on the grid, sorry, from 1st on the grid in the second race of the day. Mark Taylor next up, then John Newell, then Louis Requenco. No points for Louis that time round, but I'm sure that he'll be feeling a bit more confident at least for the second race of the day. But great stuff from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, once again taking a category win, and Norbert Kish continuing his 100% record for 2024. He takes the win from Albacete, with Jochen Hahn in 3rd place. A podium that will contain 14 championship titles. Incredible stuff. Norbert with 5, Antonio with 3, and Jochen with 6. They are 3, I mean, we call them titans. They are 3 real titans of this championship. It's amazing. They now peel in towards the end of the race, and of course complete the sort of in-lap, so to speak, to head then down into the pit lane. We'll get some reaction and we'll get some words from them. There is your Chrome class podium. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez taking a very convincing victory in that one, with Stefan Faas in 2nd position, and Lucas Hahn in his first appearance this season taking a podium in the class. Very well done to Lucas. Great way to start out his 2024 season with some silverware. Just had the interesting thought as well, actually, because I believe once again for this season Lucas Hahn is number 22, and I'm pretty sure that usually Ollie Janes, who we haven't had race in the championship yet this season. Fair enough. I believe Ollie Janes is also the number 22 truck as well, so I'm not quite sure who's going to change that number for what there if they race in the same race, but still. Doesn't matter on race numbers when you're Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He was absolutely flying in that one, wasn't he? Really on a mission there. A massive shame for Requenco not quite getting up into the top 10, and obviously for Garrett and for Hecker as well, both seemingly having their own technical issues on the first lap, and Sasha Lenz being forced to the sidelines in the very first one. Apparently it's a fuel pressure issue for Sasha Lenz. That's just been confirmed. There was apparently an alert yesterday, but they took some precautions to change a few bits and seemingly hasn't got rid of the problem. Norbert Kish wins his 9th race of the season. Absolutely remarkable stuff. Antonio Albacete finishes in 2nd place, less than 4 seconds back, with Jochen Hahn just behind him at the flag. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez with a great 4th place takes the overall win in the Chrome class as well. Then it's Andre Kurzim completing the top 5. He finishes ahead of his sparring partner Steffi Halm, who just clears Stefan Faas for 6th place, with Lucas Hahn in 8th. Mark Taylor and John Newell complete the top 10. The 2 British drivers 9th and 10th, with Louis Requenco classified in 11th. And then we lost Luke Garrett, we lost Heinrich Clemens Hecker, and we never really gained Sasha Lenz in that one, I'm afraid. Big shame indeed from those guys. Norbert Kish very happy, continuing that 100% record. A great job by him and the team. Their consistency knows no bounds here in 2024. No reliability issues or anything of the sort just yet. And that is another remarkable result. There's your 2 podiums then lined up. The trucks furthest from us, Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn. And then the line of trucks closest to us, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Faas and Lucas Hahn. There's Jose Eduardo. Smile on the face. Congratulations from the family and the team. There's his father just to the very left of shot, Jose Rodriguez. We've had him race with us a couple of times before, to say the least. Used to be a permanent fixture in the championship, did Jose Rodriguez. And he now manages his clearly very talented son in his racing. Antonio there as well, saying congrats. They're very good friends. And there is Norbert Kish having a quick wipe down, getting the hat. The T-Sport Bernau squad all really happy with Antonio's best result of the season so far. 2nd position. And a big handshake, I'm sure, there with Norbert Kish. The 2 teammates as well, really extending their run in the championship. They're on great form as things stand. And it was a lovely clean race, that one, wasn't it? Only a tiny bump. I think the only bump we saw was that little touch between John Newell and Heinrich Clemens Hecker. And to be honest to John, and to be fair to John, it was only because Heinrich suddenly slowed on the exit of the chicane. I don't think any of us would have expected that. There's the Chrome result then, with the Titan drivers taken out. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez takes the class win. He was 5.4 seconds clear of Stefan Faas. Lucas Hahn gets his first podium of the season, and we're going to see him start from pole position in race 2 as well, which will be really cool. Then we've got Mark Taylor and John Newell 4th and 5th. Louis Requenco was the last one classified, and as mentioned, we lost Luke Garrett and Heinrich Clemens Hecker from the result as well, so unfortunately no points for those guys, whether it be overall or Chrome as well. But now we have a little bit of downtime between races. There is Lucas, his new overalls as well, actually, to match the design of the truck, which is great. The new Iveco logo as well after their rebranding. You can hear Jochen's unmistakable laugh in the background there. Jochen's always laughing, to be fair. He's a very funny bloke. It's great to have Lucas back on the grid, though. He's such a character in himself, much like his dad. And it looks like we're going to get a chat with both of them here with Lena. Fantastic stuff. Let's hear from the Hahns.
Yes, I really like to see them smiling at first. You're both very much character, and I have to say yes. And I like how relaxed you are even after the race.
No, we are happy. We are still on the podium together. Yeah, not really together, but I'm on the third place. Lucas on the third place. Happy. more it's not possible. So from this side, I'm happy. We watch, we look, we make analyze, and we go again in the next race.
I just heard before the race that it's good for you to test drive all the races before coming to the whole championship. And every time you enter the European Championship, you have a trophy in your hand when you leave. So that's a very nice plan, no?
Yeah, that's true. But I had to fight very hard because something is broken on the truck, and Taylor was behind me and he was also pushing hard. And yeah, but in the end we handle it and we are on the podium, yeah.
Yeah, podium is right over there, so it's time for you to go get your trophies. Hoping to see you at the next race. It's reverse grid, which means for you, where you're going to be starting on?
I think pole position.
Oh, there you go.
Yo.
Your dad might be pushing from the back. You never know. Okay,
so.
just back to you.
He can handle it. He is clever enough to handle it. So from this side.
I was going to say, so we just heard Jochen mention there that, you know, he knows he can handle it. Lucas has done this before. We've had him start from pole position and taken overall race victory. So let's see whether he can do it again. Let's quickly have a look back then at how that first race of the day unfolded, shall we? Because it was certainly an attritional one from some angles, but definitely a good platform to get the weekend really rolling. So a bit more sunshine than we had during qualifying, which was a very gloomy affair, with Norbert Kish and Antonio Albacete starting on the front row, wondering whether we'd see teammates clash and whether Antonio could hold on ahead of Jochen Hahn behind. Jochen had been one of the absolute stars pace-wise so far. The race got underway, unfortunately, without Sasha Lenz, who had what was suspected to be an electrical issue, turned out to be a problem with fuel pressure. Heinrich Clemens Hecker had a very lively couple of first corners, locking up and then having a technical issue. The same happening to Luke Garrett as well. So waiting to see what happens to those guys when we get the reports back from whatever technical issues they had, but we'll keep you in the loop as we find out. Steffi Halm and Andre Kurzim had another brilliant battle on circuit, with Stefan Fast trying to get involved, while Mark Taylor chased down Lucas Hahn for his position in the Chrome Championship. Lucas making a very strong debut in the number 22 machine. Jochen Hahn was chasing down Antonio Albacete, but pushed a little bit too hard in a few places, so I'm sure we'll make some changes for the next race of the day, while everybody else kept themselves very entertained off track if they weren't watching the racing itself. Norbert Kish led the way though and did another great job in terms of what he does in races 1 and 3, as we very often see. Norby taking the checkered flag and continuing on with his 100% record. Here are the points then: 140 to Norbert Kish, with Jochen Hahn 96. Antonio Albacete now on 77, moves ahead of Sasha Lenz, and they're ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Look at that, top 5 in the overall championship. Brilliant stuff. It's all very, very close between each of the drivers inside the top 10. Following them, Steffi Halm, Andre Kurzim, Stefan Fast, John Newell and Mark Taylor, with Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Louis Requenco, Lucas Hahn and then Luke Garrett, completing the 14 drivers that we've had score points so far this season. And then looking at the Chrome Championship standings, we have Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now on 125 points, Stefan Fast on 98, Mark Taylor on 81, with John Newell on 73. Louis Requenco is in 5th place ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who now is in front of Luke Garrett. Bradley Smith is up there with 16 points, and Lucas Hahn scores his first 12 points of the season. We'll obviously add more and more drivers to that as we continue to go. We'll have numerous race-by-race entrants over the course of the campaign. And now we have our first podium of the weekend, which will be the overall drivers, the top 3. And they're the 2 teammates at Revesh and T-Sport, Antonio Albacete and Norbert Kish. We have Jochen Hahn making his way up to the podium. One of my favourite podiums of the season, this here, actually, at Zolder. Really do like this. It's situated sort of just next to the paddock, right by the pit lane. It's not far for the drivers or teams to go. Second place going the way of Antonio Albacete. His best result of the season, 15 points for him. Puts him on 77, which tells me that my maths is off because I had him on 76. So we'll figure that out between races. But Norbert Kish once again wins, and that is... I've run out of words by now, but 9 races out of 9 for Norbert Kish. We've seen dominance from him the past couple of seasons, but this time round he's really stepped it up a notch in a way that I don't think people realised that he could. Antonio Albacete receives his trophy for second place. Like I've said, T-Sport Bernau's best result of the season so far. Jochen Hahn's got a trophy for third place, and Norbert Kish gets another win for Reves Racing. And now we'll get the national anthem of Hungary for Norby. I was going to say, that guy started talking early over the anthem, didn't he? Norbert Kish takes another victory, though, and once again puts even more fear into those that race him. And they just cannot catch up at the moment. But what a podium that is. If you know truck racing, you know that is one hell of a podium. It's a podium we've seen before, but that's because these three are three of the very best in the business. 3 championship titles for Antonio Albacete, 5 for Norbert Kish, and then 6 for Jochen Hahn. An incredible, incredible trio of guys. Brilliant racers. And they're not bad at spraying champagne either, as I'm sure many of the people down there in the media are about to get soaked. There's a cheeky grin on the face of Norbert Kish. He's going to follow Jochen's lead, if they can get the bottles open, that is. They spray everybody around them and celebrate the first race of the weekend. Great stuff. Now, usually, I'm sure some of you would have wanted to see the drivers drench each other in champagne there, but that often comes in races 2 and 4 of the weekend, where they know that they've got a little bit longer to dry out overalls and get things prepared overnight. We wait now to see the Chrome class podium, which will include Lucas Hahn for the first time this season, his very first race in the 2024 season. Stefan Faas will be joining him, and then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. They'll head up there in reverse order. You can see perched up there in a brilliant spot Richard Keimberger, the official photographer of the championship. Richard's work is beautiful, and he's always in the best spot at the best time. There is Norby, silverware in hand. Another trophy to add to the ever-growing collection for Reves Racing. Lucas Hahn heads up to the podium. 3rd place in the Chrome class for him. That's a great way to start your championship. And let's not forget, he's going to be on pole position overall for the 2nd race as well. There is Stefan Faas, his countryman. Makes his way up onto the 2nd spot. And then once again, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez for the 6th race running, now takes the top spot and extends his championship lead. Lucas, his first trophy of the season. Stefan's 7th podium of the season. And Jose Eduardo's 7th as well, but his 6th race victory out of those podiums. And now we'll get the Portuguese national anthem for our race winner. And there you go, the Portuguese national anthem there for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Getting faster and faster all the time now, challenging the drivers in the overall top positions. I'm sure it won't be long before we have him in the Titan class in this championship in that MAN. And they also struggle with the champagne bottles. Seems like they're a little bit tougher to open here as yet. Typically our camera guy gets drenched, as he always does. Stefan Faas has got an eye for that, and Lucas joins in. Big smiles all round on the podium. And a really feel-good way to complete the first race of the weekend. After you, Sunshine. But Zolder will certainly provide more thrills and spills as the weekend continues. Can tell you that for free. We've got 3 more races yet to go, and let's not forget another qualifying session tomorrow. The racing action isn't even over for today yet, but you can see there in the bottom left of your screen we have race 2 coming up later on, 4:25 CEST. So if you're watching along with me in the UK, that's 3:25. And as I'm sure you've picked up just behind said graphic, we're going to have a chat with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who's going to speak to Lena.
And who's really having a strong season so far. You're doing so well. You're leading the Chrome class, but you're also doing very well in total, collecting so many points. What happened in winter time? Did you have some secret extra training?
No, I'm training. I'm focused in evolution, and it's a good start for me this weekend. First in the Chrome class and fourth in the overall. It's good. And we'll see the second race.
So you have your family around, because your dad and your grandfather already were race car drivers. Do they support you a lot?
Yeah, it's a big support for me. It's a good team, and a big experience is good.
Okay, so I see you at the next race. Good luck to you and congratulations. And we will be back this afternoon, maybe with a slight delay, but just click on the live stream and I will see you there.